Hi, I'm Brendan Dias and welcome to my channel, a place where you can enhance your skills in photography and image editing. I will release new tutorials every week, so make sure you hit the like and subscribe buttons to keep up to date with the latest tutorials. The Photoshop program interface. Today we'll take a look at the various aspects of the interface that is used in Photoshop so that you get familiar with what is available on screen or what is called the workspace area. During this course, we will be referring to various parts of these areas of the display interface. So you need to be accustomed with all this. So let's get started. This is the Photoshop home screen. When you start Photoshop, you'll be presented with this screen where it gives you various options. So you can either create a new file and open an existing one. You have an area here called the Learn area where you can click and you can choose whatever tutorials you want to learn from that is provided by Adobe itself. You also have another button here on the right hand side where you can explore some tips. You have the search button. You have this last button here which takes you directly to your Adobe account, and you have the saved whatever files you save in the cloud will be available here in this area with the cloud icon. All your files can be viewed from here, the ones shared with you and the ones deleted. The last files you worked with will be listed here. So your most recent files you've worked with will be listed here. And you can change either to a single line format or a thumbnail format. And various other help options are available here. Okay. So this particular window or this screen can always be accessed through Photoshop. For example, if you're working in Photoshop, you have this home button icon here. So if you click on this, it will take you to the home screen. Okay. And if you click back here, take you back to Photoshop. Okay. So that's about the home screen in Photoshop. When you open up a file, you'll be presented with this interface that you see here on the screen. To begin with, you have your menu bar, which is right on top. Here you have file, edit, image, etc. in your menu bar. On the left hand side, you have what you call the toolbar, and above the toolbar, below the menu bar, is what we have the tools options bar. So for example, when you choose a tool, it will give you options with regard to that particular tool, which you can use accordingly in your processing. At the bottom lower corner, you will find a small panel there which gives you various options. The one by default is showing document dimensions, but you can change it to whatever you want from the list given there. So I'm going to keep it at document dimensions. On the right hand side, you have a list of panels. Now panels contain various elements pertaining to what you're currently doing. Okay, and these panels are all found in the window menu. So all these panels here are available in the Windows menu. Now on the right hand side, on the top, you have the share button, you have the notifications button, you have the help, the search and the help, and finally you have the workspace button. So you can choose a workspace from here. So what is a workspace? A workspace is nothing but what you're seeing on the screen here. All the elements on the screen here is called your workspace. And you can arrange the workspace to your requirement. Now each of these areas here, as you can see, when you click on the names of each of these panels, they will open up. Okay, and you can drag on the edges here like this, and you can increase or decrease the size of the panels accordingly. Okay. So if you drag a panel out, it will get released from the docking bar and you can use it as a floating panel. Okay. Now each of these panels has got a title bar, it's got a heading, it's got the minimize button of collapse to icons, and you have the close button, and just below the close button you have options or a menu with regard to that particular panel. Okay, so this is important for you to know that the small box here is quite functional, right? And if you don't want a panel, you can simply click on the X button and it will close that panel. Okay. So similarly, you can take a panel out and place it anywhere. So for example, if I drag it to the left corner, you get this blue line coming showing that this panel will be docked in this area. So as you can see now, the panel is docked here on top. If you don't want it there, simply drag from the title area and bring it out. Okay. It can even be put here on after the menu. You cannot, however, put it on top or the bottom. It can only be put on the left or on the right hand sides. Okay. Now these are all the various panels that you can see here. There are numerous ones. So when you place your mouse cursor on a panel, it will give you the name of that panel if it's already in a minimized state. Now, if you want a ready-made workspace, you already have some here. So like Essentials, Graphic and Web. So if I click on Essentials, as you can see, everything gets cleaned up and it comes into these panels which are laid out accordingly depending on that function. So if you go to Photography, then you'll get the histogram, you get the navigator, etc. All these panels available here in this list. You can customize this according to your need. For example, if you don't want the properties panel here, you can drag it and place it at the side here. You can reduce the size of each of the panels here by simply dragging on the edge, as you can see here. Okay, so you can increase or decrease the size of each of these panels. Okay. Now, in case you want a panel and it's not available here, you can find it in the Windows area, and from here you choose the panel that you need. For example, I want the brushes panel. So that will come up here and then you can place it accordingly. So I want to put this properties panel back again into this set of panels here on the right hand side. So I'm going to simply drag the properties panel and bring it here where it shows a blue line showing that this is the area where that panel is going to be inserted. So now we have this properties also here. So for example, when I'm working with this image, I can see the properties, and if I want to see information about any aspect of this image, I can go to the window menu and choose the info panel. So I can keep the info panel here, and as you notice, as I keep moving, it keeps giving me the pixel values in terms of RGB or CMYK and the position of the mouse cursor with regard to the image. So this is a useful panel to have open, especially if you want a lot of details about the picture. You can also create your own panel. For example, now we have customized this panel, and let's say I also want the info panel to be placed here. Now, of course, the number of panels that you place will also depend on your screen resolution. I'm using a 4K monitor, so I'm able to fit a lot of these panels there. But you may have more or less depending on how you want to use it. So I'm going to, now let's say this is the setup I'm comfortable with and I want to work with. So I'm going to save this as a workspace. So to do that, you go to the workspace button on the right hand side here, open it up and choose new workspace. Okay, and we'll call it with my name, for example, and click save. So now if you look at this list here, you will find the current workspace being used is Brendan, and this is what it all has. Now, for example, let's say in the course of working, I shift the panels for whatever reason, and I want to go back to the original layout as I had planned it. So I can go here to the workspace icon and then click Reset Brendan. So everything goes back in place, and now you're able to work with the panels once again. So in brief, this is the description of the panels, the workspace, etc. in Photoshop. Now this main work area, as you see here, is a particular color. So if you right click on it, it shows you what other colors you can use. For example, if you like a black background to work with, you can use that, or dark gray, medium gray, light gray, okay, or any other custom color that you need. It is recommended to keep it medium gray or slightly darker. So whilst working with photos in Photoshop, you will find that the name of the photo or the image is indicated in the tab here. So this is the tabbed interface that Photoshop uses for multiple pictures. So if you have more than one image open in Photoshop, they will be displayed side by side like this, and you can click on them to view that particular image. You can drag the image of that bar, then that image will become a floating image. Okay, and you can position it as you want. So for example, if you would like to view them side by side, you could do something like this, where you could you could make the pictures, or you could arrange the pictures accordingly. And if you want to automatically arrange them, there is the Windows menu, go to Arrange, and in that you can say Tile All vertically. So it will then show you the images accordingly. So Command 0 or Control 0 is the shortcut to fit the picture in the current view. Okay. So that is Control 0 or Command 0. So accordingly, you can place your pictures as you want them. And if you want to go back to the normal view, you can go to Arrange and say Consolidate All to Tabs. So then they will come back to what they were earlier. Okay, consolidated in tabs. So this is the tabbed interface here. And if you want to see the same image in two separate windows, then you can go select the image, go to Windows, and then choose New Window for that particular image. So as you can see now, there is one window here and the second window as well. Both are of the same image. So I'm going to close this third image. Okay, and I'm going to arrange all vertically. So now you have two views of the same image. So for example, you may want to zoom into this and look at the overall picture here whilst you are editing. So you could do something like that. So this is a very handy feature, especially when you want to make comparisons with the edit that you're doing and with the original picture, with the overall picture. So this is how you can use this interface favorably so that you can get started and working quickly with Photoshop.